I would like to welcome Dr. Mahesh Kumar Maske to chair the session. Dr. Maske is a renowned public health expert and diplomat and a former ambassador of Nepal to People's Republic of China. Dr. Maske studied medicine in India, pursued public health in the United Kingdom and earned his doctoral degree in the United States. Dr. Maske has chaired the South Asian Forum of Health Research and has worked extensively with international organizations such as WHO and IPPNW. Beyond health, he has been sharing his knowledge on international relations, including the BRI, in global conferences. Dr. Maske has traveled widely across China and visited more than 20 countries. He is also a scholar who frequently writes and speaks on left politics and currently serves as the editor-in-chief of Bampantha, a prominent leftist journal. I would like to request Dr. Maske to chair the session.
शङ्करजी, अब सुरु गरे हुन्छ हाम्रो स्पिकरहरुलाई यहाँ बोलाउँ है म बोलाए हुन्छ ओके थ्यांक यू Thank you very much. First of all, I would really want to thank the organizers for inviting me to chair this session, the last session, which is Way Forward, the Lessons of International Assistance for Nepal. And it seems that we have started from MCC in particular. Now, while in the concluding session, we are trying to go a little bit broader. So, MCC as a reference point and talking about international chair in general. So, first of all, I would like to invite the speakers to give their thoughts here in the dais. And then I'll say a few things as an opening statement. And then I would invite the speakers to present their thoughts to this August gathering. So therefore, first of all, I invite Dr. Liu Xingchun, who is graduated from the School of International Relations of Sun Yat-sen University in Guangdong Province, China. Currently, he works at the Institute of South Asian Studies at Xizang Minju University in Shaanxi Province as a lecturer. He has long been mainly engaged in South Asian international relations and Nepal studies. He has published over 10 papers in core Chinese journals and newspapers, authored a book titled Understanding Kathmandu, presided over more than 20 projects of various types, and has been conducting academic exchanges and field research in Nepal and the border areas between China and Nepal for a long time. In recent years, he has mainly focused on the construction of China-Nepal Trans-Himalayan Connectivity Network and the research on foreign aid to Nepal. You're welcome. Please have a seat here. Now, next I invite Sri Leela Poudyal, who is a distinguished Nepali civil servant and former ambassador to China. In a way, I can say my successor also. After me, he has been the ambassador to China. And he has been the chief secretary of government of Nepal, where he championed transparency and environmental initiative like Bagmati cleanup campaign. Later, he was appointed Nepal's ambassador to China, also credited to Mongolia and North Korea. Mongolia and North Korea are usually non-resident ambassadors. They sit in China, but they also look after these countries, strengthening Nepal's diplomatic ties in the region. His career reflects a commitment to public service, ethical governance, and cross-border cooperation. So welcome, Shabisek. Thank you. Our third speaker, distinguished speaker in this plenary is Dr. Resham Thapa, an associate professor. Please proceed. An associate professor at the Central Department of Economics, Tribhuvan University, Nepal. He holds a PhD from University of Hull, UK, and MA in Economics from Tribhuvan University, Nepal. He teaches Nepalese economy, econometrics, microeconomics, and professional writing modules at MA, MPhil, and PhD levels. Dr. Thapa is working on research grants from University Grant Commission, the South Asian Network for Development and Environmental Economics, and the National Priority Research Grant, Tribhuvan University. His research connects economic theory with practical policy solutions addressing key issues such as fiscal discipline, resource allocation, and socio-economic effects of conservation areas. Dr. Thapa has served on Nepal's Prime Minister's Economic Advisory Council and provided consultancies to various government and non-government organizations. He is currently interested in the institutional perspectives of causal inference, ecological macroeconomics, and social environmental system modeling. Thank you. So our distinguished speakers are all seated here and poised to share their thoughts with you. I just want to say a few things about how our discussion would go. So once I make a brief opening statement, each of the speakers from this row they are free to choose whether they want to take the podium or they want to speak from the chair where they are sitting. And then 15 minutes each, but we see that the speakers also have to say a lot about their ideas, and the floor also wants to have a very active participation interaction, so we'll extend the time. So let's say 20 minutes each for the speakers, and also maybe more time for the floor to interact with. Yesterday I could not participate. I was in China. I came back at midnight only. And but what I gathered from today's discussion is that we have started from particularly focused on MCC and the international assistance related to that. But now at the end, in the closing session, we are going a little bit broader than MCC, but the reference point still is MCC. And as we have, I think I want to thank Amrit Kharel for his exemplary presentation just now, which says that how, according to international law, the MCC Compact violates different types of sovereignty. The sovereignty of the country, the political sovereignty, the constitutional sovereignty, the parliamentary sovereignty, and there are so many issues which are involved, economic point of view also, that needs to be considered, and it comes in a general framework of international assistance. And because in Nepal we have a long history of international assistance, again starting from United States of America. Assistance, but somebody, the professor from China, also pointed out that many, and also the critic from Martin Chaudhary studies, they point out that the initial foreign assistance was designed to neutralize the communist influence from the north. The US and all this foreign assistance was something like that designed. How far they have been successful is a point of contention. But now, what do you do about it? The last lesson is now, if we understood the difficulties, the challenges MCC has posed, and the discussion also brought out that there was a very lame excuse for passing MCC in Nepal. The 12-point interpretative discussion, declaration, doesn't have a legal significance to the past. And On the other hand, that has not been formally endorsed by US government, what our parliament passed. So what is the status of 12-point ID? And if it is null and void, if it doesn't have any power, then we can clearly see that MCC as it is, the compact, that is what we are following, not conditionally on 12-point interpretative declaration. So that puts us in a very difficult situation. Therefore, this way forward discussion should provide us some ideas how to deal with this situation and what we are going to do about it in this current situation. So therefore, and there are, before the speaker said there is an interesting clause of MCC Compact, which is clause number 5, article number 5. That article number 5 deals with what Nepal government should do and what MCC and American government can do if they want to terminate this MCC project. So I think that would be very relevant for the way forward discussion today. And I hope our speakers will also give their thoughts about it. So first of all, I want to invite Sri Leela Poudyal ji for his deliberation. Thank you. And you have 20 minutes, and I will 3 minutes before I will inform you. But I'm very strict on time. Okay.
Mr. Chair, distinguished panelists, valued participants, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me to share some of my thoughts in this important gathering and giving opportunity to say a few words and listen the valuable presentation made by the scholars and distinguished panelists in this forum. We have been discussing since 1.5 days about MCC, and yesterday from the opening sessions to the different thematic sessions, and then we discuss how the MCC evolve in Nepal, and what are the terms and conditions, and what implication it would have on our overall foreign aid assistance, and implications on our sovereignty, and the overall bilateral assistance from other sources as well, our independence on making decisions. A lot of things has been discussed. That's why I don't want to divulge on that part, because I think that sufficiently discussed and elaborated those issues and parts. And then today's this session is about the lessons we learned and the way forward. It is, as Chair already mentioned, that the topic somehow it is a little bit confusing, whether we never discuss about the foreign assistance in Nepal in general, because we discussed about the MCC only, and then how can we recommend about the foreign aid assistance in general, which was not much discussed. What we can carry forward, the idea about the foreign aid Nepal in general, that kinds of a little bit confusion is there. But what I think is that the HCR already mentioned, we casually discuss also during tea time, that let's make this session like what lessons we learn, and then what can we do in foreign aid, taking reference MCC taking as a reference point. That is what I myself have make mine, and I will directly jump onto the what lessons we learned.
more precisely in some bullets. Basic principle of foreign aid is to reduce the dependency of foreign aid in the future. If we take, let's say, $100 now as a foreign aid, the next year that foreign aid should generate the capacity to earn more revenue internally, so that next year we need less than $100. And then, and further going on, after a certain time period, and then we will reach to a point that we don't need any more foreign assistance. This is the basic principle of foreign aid. Foreign aid should help create a self-sustained, independent development resources, generate development resources in their own country. That is what the foreign aid is intended to. After developing country, after developing the economy or the living standard of people, the country in a stage can say that, oh, we don't need any foreign aid. I mean that in terms of grant, I am talking particularly on that. Assistance. Grant or technical assistance, something like that, we don't need. Some countries definitely say that we don't need. But our more than 8 decades experience, it has been gone to other way around. We are more and more dependent on foreign aid, foreign assistance, year after year. And then currently our development financing is almost fully dependent on either loan or grant assistance from internal or external sources. Our revenue is more or less sufficient, just sufficient enough to cover up our recurrent expenses. And then if we talk about the development financing, project financing, either we have to borrow domestically or we have to borrow internationally or we have to receive some grants. That is the reality of the country after 80 years of taking grants and loan. That's why it is an evident that our foreign assistance is not serving true purpose of foreign assistance. The first lesson we have learned, let me give some lessons in a bullet point. The first lessons we have learned that we never learn from our past mistake. That is the first lesson we learned. While talking about the taking foreign assistance and the terms and conditions of the agreement, not only foreign assistance, I will broadly talk on the negotiations or the agreements or treaties we have made, no? Because they also are meant to support the national economy, national independence, and national sovereignty. Treaties and negotiations are done for that purpose. And then we have been talking that MCC, it has, the lot of the provisions undermine our sovereign independence and the national ownership of the project and the national execution of the project and the accountability to the project execution process or the resources deployed on the project. This lot of the basic tenets of the agreements that are violated in the MCC agreement. That's why it's a kind of a treaty because that our parliament ratified it. And then when we talk about the treaty and then it violates the national sovereignty or the independence of the country, and then we can compare with the several treaties or agreements we have done in the past, talking from the 1815s, the Sugauli Treaty. The Sugauli Treaty was done at a time when there was an intense rift between the Thapa clan and the Pandey clans. and there was an internal rift, and that was a gift of the British Empire at that time, the Sugoi Treaty. And then came to the 1950s Peace and Friendship Treaty. There was a conflict between Rana and Congress, and then we received as a gift the 1950s unequal treaty. And then we talk about the Kosi or Gandaki or Mahakali or Karnali. These all are the consecutive the agreements or treaties we've signed with the country, and the compromise our national and sovereign interest, and the independence policy making authority of the state. We compromise on all these, and if we see the time period of those chronicles of those events, every time we have some sort of the conflicts between the ruling elites or ruling political parties or ruling forces. And then the such agreements were done, and we received the such unequal provisions in the treaties and agreements with the countries. And the Karnali agreement and MCC, these are the two gifts of our Republican political setup. When there was a very unstable government, and there was a political rifts, and the country was divided, and then we got this kinds of this sort of treaty. That's why the MCC vertically splitted Nepal into two parts. The Mahakali agreement that vertically split the largest communist party at that time. That's why this is what happens, that one after another consecutively we made a mistake while signing an agreement or making treaties, but we never learn from the history. There is one saying goes on that the wise person learns from others' mistake, the foolish learns from their own mistake. But the situation that can actually explain our situation, there is no any proverb. We cannot cover the proverb as well. We never learn from our own mistake even. We are worse than foolish. That is what the first lesson we learned from MCC. The second is, I just casually also highlighted that such kinds of treaties or agreements are imposed on us when our political forces are divided. And national interest is always compromised. That is what the reality of this country. Third lesson is that our capacity, I mean in terms of giving visions and the passion for transforming the country, or some sort of the giving leadership to the nation, to a certain goal and destinations. That kinds of capacity in the political leadership, they lacks that kinds of capacity in the political leadership, and the bureaucratic leadership, they lack the technical expertise of designing agreements or treaties while signing with the foreign countries. The part of the responsibility I should bear, having served in the senior level bureaucracy, and then we lack that competence, particularly to negotiate on a technical terms and conditions. There are so many flaws and inconsistencies from one agreements or the treaty to the another, and then when we made a mistake in one agreement, and then we never try to correct it in the next episode. Rather than we commit another blunder in the next episode. That's why there seems a very lacking bureaucratic competence and technical know-how on the bureaucracy, and the visioning and passion, and the kinds of the driving nations towards a certain goal and destinations, the lack in the political part. Third is there is a completely lacks of the clear roadmap of our development financing. I'm not fully aware whether in the previous, presentation it came out or not, but definitely could have, should have. We prepared a transmission master plan in 2015 after spending millions of rupees and taking loan from World Bank and engaging all stakeholders of Nepal, including development partners and donors, and we prepared a comprehensive electricity transmission plan. And there was no any plan from Ratamate to from Sindhu Palchok to Nuwakot to going to Navalprasi and Tanau to Butowal to Lumbini and the Hetauda. There was no. And then all of a sudden in 2017 came a new project in the name of the owned by Nepal and the nationally owned project and the priority project and as a project that transforms the Nepal economy, it is stated in the document. It's ridiculous. We don't have a roadmap for our development. Whatever the donors they impose on their interest, and we make that plan as our plan. We own it. Not only own it, we take loan for making that plan and then pay with interest. And then that is to source the interest of others. Just Ratna Sansarji was showing the map, and then I've seen the map and then divided in 5 and then flowing all transmission lines to India. That is what the lacking I saw, that lessons we never learned. And the fifth lesson that we learned is that we lack the accountability. We made such a blunder, we compromised on national interest. There are people who have involved in this, extensively involved in this, and then no one is punished or penalized. Sometimes they become the hero even in the society. They are projected as hero. And those who oppose against any kinds of agreement against our national interest, they are portrayed as a villain. Not only villain, they are victimized. I can give you several examples in the Nepalese bureaucracy who are victimized for taking stands on national interest. And that process is constantly going on. Not only going on, more alarmingly, that is expanded exponentially these days. That's why this is what we learn. We made a new record of breaching any international protocols and the framework of international bilateral agreements, signing agreements in MCC. We made all kinds of make a new history on breaching these kinds of the parameters or the frameworks of agreement through MCC. I don't want to give you one by one because it has already been presented with us. Just I summarize that what we learned from it. And then through this agreement, what we can say is that although government allocates budget from its resources, but cannot have a control over its own expenses or projects during execution. And that is repeatedly going on. They are dictated by donors, dictated by the so-called development partners, and then we have been accepting it as a usual, as normal. That is what the MCC has given a learning to us. And sometimes this is might be very subjective and very difficult to substantiate. If you ask me to give example and then pinpoint on more specifically, I can't do that. But what I have been perceived is that the the parochial interest, the personal interest, the party interest, that has prevailed over the national interest and common good. That is what we have been witnessing in here and there and disagreements or that agreements. That is a reality. And then the donors or the so-called development partners can have that their terms and conditions imposed on us. Okay. This is not only the government. Our parliament also lack some sort of the knowledge or the competence or the capability of looking after what is right and what is wrong and what should it do and what should not it do while passing that MCC. Yesterday Dr. Bhim Rawal just narrated what was been happening, and then Honorable J.N. Kanal, former Prime Minister, also narrated what was happening inside the Parliament when MCC was said yes or no or ratified or passed. That is what not only the government, the Parliament doesn't have the kinds of the capability to comprehend its role and responsibilities effectively. And then talking about the way forwards, just if you reverse down it all the points I've made, and then that would be the way forward. What is I would like to just say, and then needs of policy and consensus on the major national issues of national political interest. We should have vision, missions, and passion for transforming the society, and then we should have our own roadmap and plan for a developing country. We should have a project list, and then which project, what kinds of financing we are seeking for, whether loan or grant, if loan on what terms and conditions, if grant on what terms and conditions. We don't have template of agreement. We don't have the template of the terms and conditions, minimum terms and conditions, what we can agree, what we cannot agree, we cannot compromise. That is a very normal in the global arena while dealing with the foreign countries. And then we don't have any set criteria. That's why always we make a mistake and take a decision on the haphazard manner. Standard template is required, project bank is required, terms and conditions needs to be postulated down, and it should enhance the capability of the political as well as the bureaucratic leadership, and they should not accept any terms and conditions that compromises on our national interest, or that we have to violate the already given framework of our projects and terms and conditions that we prepare on consensus among major political parties. Parliament should take responsibility of what it has taken decisions, although it has no meaning at all that 12-point agreements for the points that passed together with the MCC in the Parliament, but it is the Parliament's responsibility to oversee the government's activities in the country and then ask government to pursue and follow whether that 12 points are strictly pursued during the executions or not. If they are violated, the Parliament should make accountable to the government. This is the responsibility of the Parliament, what I would like to recommend. And there must be the accountability rule or law from top to bottom, from Prime Minister to the junior level civil servants, and then what they do, and then they must be held accountable, and there must be a transparency. Although some people argue that MCC is the most transparent, made public, that is very elusive. Yesterday, Dr. Songrola, Dr. Pandey, Professor Songrola, they mentioned several things. No, we don't have the comprehensive know-how of the several agreements, several dozens of agreements and letter of exchanges done between the MCA and the different ministries and MCC and MCA. That's why I finished. And that's why it needs complete transparency in people's participation. With this, once again, I would like to conclude by saying that the country must be united on the issues of the national interest, And that is the only foundation or basic prerequisite for protecting our own interest in the country. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Poudyal, for your exposition of the bureaucratic procedures also behind these grant processes. It's very interesting to observe that, because we talked about a general impressions about international assistance also. There is, in 2022, because we had a lot of problem, I think Roshan Thapa would deliberate upon that. We had a history of problem with the international aid, and whether it is helping us or whether it is restricting our development. These questions are being debated, and there have been like series of books starting from Devendraj Pandey's, Nepal's failed development and donors, and then the critical reviews of Martin Chaudhary, later on Devraj Khanal's Action Aid. All these are trying to point out the difficulties of international assistance in countries like Nepal. Now recently in 2022, because of this problem, they have come out with the 4 principles of dealing with international assistance. It has to be country-led, it has to be result-oriented, it has to be transparent and inclusive. There are 4 conditions has to be. Now if you look at MCC, it seems apart from result-oriented, it doesn't comply anything. If you look at the MCC web page, it said it is country-led and country-owned. But as today's presentation by international law expert, we have seen how it violates the norms of international law, and it is not country-led at all. It violates our sovereignty. So what to do with MCC, in particular in terms of international assistance? We can debate about international assistance throughout. It has been being debated for so many years. But now today, we have to find out the solution, what we should do about MCC.